Good morning, world. My name's Josh, and I'm making this video on behalf of anyone who has sciatica or sciatic pain. I've made like 2 or 3 of these videos in the past, but over the last couple of years it's come and gone. My sciatica can flare up to where it feels like I just want to die sometimes. Not literally, but figuratively. And the pain has gotten to the point where I can't get up off the ground. I have to have someone, my wife, help drag me into the bathtub, that kind of stuff. And it's very debilitating, and it's very humbling to go through about a pain like that. And I had to quit my job recently. And my subs, probably a lot of subs know that already, but I was a carpenter for 15 years, and I basically had to quit any chance of doing carpentry work because I kept trying to get back into it. And every time I'd have a flare-up, I'd get back into work, and then everything would be fine for a while. Then I'd get onto a job where I had to work hard. So I might have a slight amount of pain. I'd have to, for example, the last one I built was a deck, and I felt fine, but gradually it kept building. I kept moving these boards, 100 pounds here, 100 pounds there, squatting, screwing, and that was the worst bout I ever had was after that. A week of decking cost me like 2 weeks of extreme pain. And so that's why I'm making this video, because my brother has the exact same type of sciatic pain that I do. And I said, hey, just don't lift anything. And he just laughed. He said that's exactly what it was. He plays disc golf, and he was out building a disc golf course, and he had to lift and move these things, and he said that the next day he was just on the ground, couldn't move for a few days. Basically confirming that if you have sciatic pain and it starts to feel better, what you're doing by lifting, it's pretty obvious, is you're irritating that cushion, between your vertebrae. Depending on what you have, there's piriformis syndrome and various other things. But if the issue is right there between your L4 and L5, you're familiar with those terms if you know. And those the best way that I've heard to build that cushion back up is by taking MSM, chondroit, and glucosamine. I take those, and it seems to help to build it back up, but there's no real answer as to how to cure sciatic pain unless you have surgery, or unless it's a particular bone spur, or you can see. For my situation, they don't know what it is. It's just pinching somehow in there. Can't afford surgery, don't want surgery. So if there's a couple points I wanted to make for people that have it. First off, don't lift, okay? If you have a job where you lift, you're just going to have to quit lifting. That's all there is to it. It sucks, but unless you want to go through bouts of pain, lifting, bending is going to irritate it the worst. There's one position, I've heard a million yoga positions that are good for sciatica, and after going to the acupuncturist and talking with a few different doctors and stuff, there's really only one exercise that works. And this is what I've been told. I'm sure others will have different exercises that work for them, but you sit to where your thighs are level on a level chair. You put assuming that the pain is in your left side, you put your left ankle over your right knee, so that it's just sitting on your knee, and then you push down. I guess you could probably imagine what I'm doing. You're just putting your foot, like you're crossing your legs with your foot on your knee, and you push down on this knee lightly, and you just keep pushing down. And that's the best exercise to help to stretch out the sciatic nerve. And there are a few that you can do as well with like yoga stretches that I did, but this is the simple one you can do anywhere. You're sitting down, you can exercise it. One thing I wanted to say about painkillers is when I'm in a lot of pain, and the reason why this came up this morning is because I had a killer toothache for the last 2 days, and it's finally somewhat subsiding, but it popped up out of nowhere and reminded me how debilitating pain can really be. And there were nights when I couldn't sleep because of my sciatic pain. I'd sleep 2 hours at a time, then I'd have to walk around the block or whatever to stretch enough to get back to sleep, and then wake up in pain again. And painkillers are very difficult because you wake up, you go to work, you want to be able to work, you take your painkillers, you get there, you do your job, and you're overworking yourself because you can't feel the pain that you're causing. So the biggest catch-22 by taking painkillers is you have to be very cautious. And I personally, I don't take any opiates or narcotics. I don't. I'm not a big fan of heavy medication, and I'm really careful even about what aspirin or acetaminophen or Aleve, that I pop because I want it to work when I need it. But as for over-the-counter painkillers, I've tried them all, and acetaminophen works the best for me, just Tylenol, and works better than even Aleve. Aleve works better for toothaches. Tylenol seems to work better for, could that be? How ironic, actually, that's probably my aunt. My mom is in surgery right now getting a new hip. That's very ironic that, yeah, looks good. 10 minutes until she goes into surgery. So, anyway, my mom has the same type of sciatic pain, and she's going in to get her hip replaced because they did an x-ray, found out that her hip is going bad. My question is whether or not this hip surgery, when it's done, is going to cure her problem, or if the sciatic pain is going to remain, because it's such a hard thing to diagnose, and that nerve is so big. Honestly, I've had a lot of different pain in my life, and sciatic pain probably takes the cake. It's the only thing worse than a toothache, and I've had some pretty bad toothaches. But there's nothing you can do, and the best you can do is try to improve it so you don't have problems later down the line. And don't make the mistake I did and just be stubborn and go back to work. Find something that you can do where you don't have to exert so much energy, and move on into a different line of work, or else suffer the consequences if you do something heavy. So hope that helps someone with sciatica, because it's a pain in the ass, and mine always is kind of a dull feeling in my leg, but that dull feeling is nothing compared to the pain it could be. So I've just become used to it. As we speak right now, I can barely feel it in my thigh, so it's been pretty good, but this toothache's kicking my ass. Kind of swollen up too. Fucking health, man. These bodies are meant to be respected, and it's hard when you do something you don't expect and you feel like you're completely ruined. Because that feeling of laying down with your back damaged, it feels like your body, you're never going to get back up. You're never going to recover from this. And I've been there, and I know how it is. And just got to get back up on the horse and keep riding. So, peace out, everybody.